Good morning, Sobat Muskitnas. Welcome to Muskitnas MUN 2023. Please let me introduce myself. I am Stakeholder and I will be your host for today's event. However, before I get moved to any explanation, please let's do a warm up, because this is early in the morning. I guess a lot of you are still sleepy, so let's do a warm up. So when I say good morning, please answer with morning, morning, morning. Oh yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll try. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Oh yeah. Okay. Moving on. For today's event, we have three judges from Pemuda Indonesia, and they are firstly Mr. Timothy Mailan. Please give a round of applause. Thank you. Maybe Mr. Timothy, if you have any speech that you want to or maybe one more.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm really excited to see all of you participate in this event. It's a really great opportunity to bring people together with different ideas and learn about different perspectives around the world. And in a time like this right now, global unity is so important. So I'm really excited to hear all of the different ideas from all the different perspectives. So good luck, enjoy, have fun, and look forward to hearing all of your ideas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timothy. Up next, we have Miss Piper Sider. Thank you. And maybe, Miss Piper, you can stand up.
Hi, good morning. So I'm so excited today. I see many of the papers already prepared by you. I'm so impressed. I would like to see you actually presenting the papers today. And like Tim said, enjoy. And this is really a great opportunity for you, and it will be useful for you. You can see the application for sure. So good luck.
Thank you, Miss Piper. And last but not least, we have Miss Dewi Arlita and
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just like Ibu Haidar, I just read the paper last night. It was interesting. Hopefully, I can see you develop your negotiating skill, diplomacy skill, and everything. This is a good opportunity for you. So I'll see you in the room later.
Dewi for the speech. And of course, we also have our community from ISEC Indonesia, and they will be helping us with the leading in the conference. First of all, with the UN Human Rights Council, we have the chair, yours truly, Estario Kurnia. And then we have our co-chair, which is Kaisa Akbar. Kaisa Akbar, maybe you can stand up. Okay, here we have Kaisa Akbar, thank you very much. And then we have our messenger, Miss Attila Rizkiara. Maybe Miss Thank you very much, Miss Attila. Moving on, we have the UN Security Council. We have our chair, Miss Saila Maulaya Nabila. Miss Saila, thank you very much. And then we have our co-chair, Miss Fini Savana. Hello, Miss Fini. Thank you very much. And moving on, we have our messenger, Gani Fitria Amarasuci. Thank you, Miss Gani. Moving on, we have the UNESCO Council. We have our chair, Miss Waode Regina Haksanti. Hello, Miss Waode. Okay, thank you very much. And then we have our co-chair, Mr. Don Dewandre. Hello, Mr. Don. And lastly, we have our messenger, Miss Triwara Agdanis Wari. Thank you. Hello. And please give a round of applause for our teams that will be leading up the conference. Okay. And I will be explaining today's event. So we will allocate each council to 3 different rooms that has been given to you. So the map has been given in the WhatsApp group. You can take a look at the map that we have provided. And in which for the rundown, so for 8 to 8:40, we have the registration, in which you guys have already submitted your registration. At 8:40 to 9, we have the event opening, of course, which is right now. And at 9 to 10:20, we will have our first session, which is the discussion of the topic, in which you have created your position paper and did your research upon. And then at 10:20 and 10:40, we will have a 20-minute break. And then at 10:40 and 12, we will have our second session, which is the discussion of possible solutions and the creation of your working paper. So maybe you can kind of imagine what your working paper is going to look like. And then we will have a big break, the summer break at 12 to 13. And then at 13 to 14:20, we will have our third session of the conference, which will discuss the working paper that you have submitted, and then the creation of the draft resolution, which is something more advanced. And then we will have a 20-minute break, and then at 14:40 to 16, we will have our final fourth session of the conference, which will discuss draft resolution, and then proceed to the voting procedure.
If it is the countries that you guys are in, if you are present and vote, and then I will call the name of each country. So if you present, you can say present and vote. Maybe we will start from China, and then Indonesia, Iraq. Thank you, changes the Israel.
Israel is present and voting.
New Guinea.
New Guinea is present and voting. Cheers, thank you.
Russia. Russia is present and voting. South Africa. South Africa is present and voting. Okay, thank you. Ukraine. Ukraine is present and voting. United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom is present and voting.
Last, United States.
The United States of America is present and voting.
That we the shared human story. Good morning, Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates. This is the delegate of Papua New Guinea, and today we'll embark on a journey to mitigate heritage sites, learning from significant damages to cultural heritage in India.
So, delegates, we'd like to propose to you a simple framework that looks at this problem from three general sides. First, law, second, action, and third, international cooperation. Laws here refers to laws that can be implemented internationally to mitigate damage during times of war and times of crisis. Actions here being concrete actions that countries can do preemptively to prevent damage coming to these heritage sites, such as learning from the French in the Second World War. They created bomb shelters for each of their artworks to protect them from airstrikes.
As the center hub for rich heritage, the UNESCO World Heritage Sites must be protected at all costs.
As the pharmacist said, our rich and great cultural heritage has the profound power to help rebuild the nation. That is the reason we are all gathered here today to preserve and protect our cultural heritage.
With this, the delegates of Israel is looking forward to collaborating with other nations to build a resolution. Let us offer us thank you. We yield our time back to the chair.
Okay, thank you.
The safety of cultural heritage sites in the world. There are, of course, already some past actions that have been done from UNESCO, such as the...
Instead, we believe that the international community should implement greater action and work in conjunction with one another in order to find a feasible solution to this ever-growing problem.
Hence, we propose the use of CAD or CAM software and establishing strong and legal frameworks. Keep in mind that CADs
do it alone and that we all must work together. Hence, we hope to find common ground with other delegates in this floor, and thank you for your time, Chair.
because we are addressing the problem that international involvement must be implemented according into the evaluation and also stances according to the UNESCO's programs. Therefore, we, the delegates of the People's Republic of China, addresses that we need to reevaluate the international involvement in the effort. Alongside, we must reevaluate existing procedures in order to make future mitigation procedures to be more flexible and to be more effective, in order to stop this from happening ever again.
UNESCO, the international community that protected heritage, learned from the past experiences of Arab in order to establish the most scientific mitigation policy that is capable of restoring, protecting, and preserving cultural heritage for generations to come. Furthermore, based on the statement of High Special, IREX Vice Minister of Culture for Antiquities and Tourism Affairs, the violation of extremists wreaked havoc on archaeological sites of world importance. 70% war and but none of the states in the UNESCO can actually do something because it has this veto power.
We think that there's a solution to that, and that in the arts we are allowed to say that we recommend the cooperation with the international participants, especially in Nepal and China and all these arts.
Marking that the cultural heritage is not a war zone because aggression, you don't like a lot of that acts like a lot of size we have our stuff, cooperation with international cooperation.
You were talking with China and we believe without solution we can make an agency to retrieve lost art. That's the international cooperation part, right? And then for the white part, I think it's really right because the USA where we can mark these cultural heritage as neutral sites.
If I were to commit a crime in, let's say China, even though I live in the UK, then I will be justified in the Chinese court instead of like international. So it's according to local customs. So I think if we include that in the DR, I think it would be very lost.
When they're planting in the USA, we feel like we should do that. Now, the thing is, with your concerns, Iraq and USA, you can still put your personal guards on your own cultural heritage sites. What they're opposed to is putting it in the DR. Because if we put it in the DR, we are forced to do it. If we don't put it in the DR, you can still do it, but others won't. That's the only difference here. So we do think that this is a simple compromise. Okay? You can
level of armament, as said previously by the delegate of China. And this is furthermore important in the Ukrainian-Russia conflict or any military conflicts in Iraq, as if we were to send our own military into said situation, it will only escalate the situation further and it would tarnish
anything way too far here. You're talking about situations of wars and conflicts and crises. That's not our job. Our job is to protect these cultural heritage sites. We understand that there are certain circumstances where our complicating matters. And we should end this specific matter here by all having a consensus that it will not be included, any military action will not be included in the draft resolution. But if you would like to put military actions on your cultural heritage sites, you are allowed to. That's your right as a country, and we cannot oppose that since it is your right as a country. But let's just not put it in the DR so we can actually pass one. Alright.
However, the delegates of Iraq believe that we cannot just ignore the fact that terrorist attacks are happening on the World Heritage Site. But we do agree that this is the UNESCO Council and not the UNSC. Therefore, we must focus on finding solutions. That is why Iraq proposes that we can work together with UNESCO organizations, the World Heritage Center, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, and UNESCO chairs and MUN networks. There are also actually laws that the Iraq why before like the events are going to happen, the terrorist attacks are going to happen, we have to make preventive measures.
Okay, so in that case, we'll launch a cooperative investigation into terrorist groups that has the potential to destroy cultural heritage sites, right? Actions like that, right?
And there is also the issues regarding
The funds, US.
One of our main factors was not force. The problem is in UNSC currently is being dominated in different sectors of law. We do not want over participation by the US in controlling how the recovery of artifacts work in our countries as well. So
we'll make a unified fund, and an organization will control that fund. So it won't be controlled by them. They'll give the money, and then the organization will control where that money goes. The agency that we want to make together.
I would also like to add for the identifying of Iraq artifacts, that organization can help regulate, like identify Iraq artifacts which are already lost, because like it's already lost everywhere, right?
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
means the
Why would we specify it when we can just make it a whole thing of where any lost artifacts? It's not specifically Iraq because we want on this. It's not.
But this topic in this council is actually Iraq.
Learning from Iraq. And implementing.
Then you need to consider policies from the Iraq government. If it's in China, for example, you need to consider the policies of the country.
Oh, but is China and Russia fine with making these cultural heritage sites a neutral zone during times of war? Are you fine with that?
during times of
Neutral, so no one can be there. Just it would be stay untouched by the country that owns it or the country that's invading or whatever. These sites will remain sacred and no one will be able to use them to their advantage.
I am fine with that, but as long as no soldiers are stationed at
Exactly. That's exactly what. That's exactly what.
I'm talking about UNP.
Then we believe that the UN.
Peacekeepers.
So can we assume that if these sanctions, these policies are already implemented, and one of the countries will be breaking the policies, then the UN countries can implement sanctions on the countries?
Proposal? Yeah. Sanctions and UNP may be deployed only when a heritage site has been destroyed, but not before.
No, I wouldn't say destroyed. If they even cross the line of the heritage site. No. If they even use the heritage site as a base.
How the proposal allowed, but how can we tell if it's crossed?
Well, if they have men inside.
Yeah, but what men? Like men or civilians?
If there is the part from the country, for example, the military, or for example, any other.
No, I mean like what instrument will tell if it's crossed? Like will be men be stationed there?
LAC mandates security cameras in these consoles. Surveillance. We have surveillance there.
So let me clarify. UNP and sanction will be deployed if military personnel cross or even enters the zone.
Yes.
And use it as a war zone.
But it
Without proper conditions.
but it will not be deployed before.
Yeah. Right.
But it is also.
That's your own country's problem. So if you want security there, that's.
The last one of this is extended to 6 minutes, so you can time wisely. You can time to start.
Has anyone not entered their Gmail into the docs? If you want to enter your Gmail into the docs, just copy it and search it in there.
Please check your email for the links.
Chair, there will be at 12 When will the break? When is the start? When is the deadline to submit the working paper?
The working paper, it will announce first.
Okay.
Delegates also not that?
Delegates, Vice President.
Okay, thank you very much. As delegates from Ukraine, delegates of Ukraine.
That there's lots of nations who are also contributing their ideas, which has been put inside the working paper as well as us in the United States. We're looking forward to arrange for the draft resolution. That's all. I yield my time to the chair.
Regarding the deployment of UN Heritage Retrieval Task Forces and directing UN Heritage Retrieval Task Forces operations on another operation basis. And the last, this is the emergency response protocol and capacity building training. This includes developing an international emergency response protocol, allowing member states to swiftly assist one another in times of crisis, establishing a fund within the consortium, again, so the member state does not use it in a fraud manner, implementing capacity building programs and workshops, and encouraging the exchange of experts and knowledge sharing initiatives to bolster the capacity of nations in preserving their cultural heritage.
Sorry, is the extension of the time possible?
It is possible.
Yeah, extend the time for 5 minutes, please.
5 minutes.
Efficient and effective in preserving cultural heritage. AI-powered sensors prevent potential risk of temperature change and relative humidity and quickly respond in emergency situations with potential risks. Predictive modeling also helps anticipate risks with heritage sites with its fast generated algorithms that is capable of simulating various scenarios. Along with CAD and CAM software implementation, which accurately documents cultural heritage and its high level of accuracy in executing research work. Collaborations among experts also ensures a comprehensive understanding of the project. With this, we firmly believe that this preservation method is an ideal balance of traditional and modern technology, while maintaining the evidential, historical, and aesthetic heritage values.
Thank you, delegates. That is it for the presentation of DR0. We are now open to question and answers and also amendments. If you have anything to say, please raise your placards. Alright. Yes. We're open to voting for amendments. You don't have to amendments to
How about if I need to amend like the format?
Sure, yeah. Well, which part specifically?
This part, change, it's just the
Sure, I mean, we think as long as there's no substantive change, if it just changes the format or language use, that's fine. I think we just like accept it and like we'll send the next DR. The actually pass. Any like substantive amendments, questions or answers, or questions? Nothing? Okay. We try for
Okay, I will make sure. Okay, is there any delegates who wants to questions about this draft resolution? Since it's our DR and this will be our.
Just change it right there.
Yeah,
Yeah. No substantive changes as long as.
Okay, so we can.
Factors that are essentially the problem of the issue have all been accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the delegates of South Africa. Okay, now you will see in the screen that this draft resolution is passed. Okay, congratulations to our Okay, now I would say Jen want to speak first for this case in order to get Okay, of this resolution, congratulations. The UNESCO is not split into block function blocks. Like it has to participate case practice in the what is
the power of using it to block resolutions of negotiations, that is implementing challenges, legal constraints, effectiveness of sanctions, political divisions, and for political divisions, UNSU often reflects the political divisions and disagreements that exist between its members. These divisions can be very difficult.
We should all stop fighting and start being chilling. So, what is being chilling? Being chilling is a framework that stands for bridging international negotiations and global cooperation. For in this, there is diplomacy and negotiation. The US can continue to engage its diplomatic efforts to pursue Russia to stop its military actions. This could involve negotiations, peace talks, and diplomatic pressure for other countries. And then there is the General Assembly United for Peace, peacekeeping operations, materials.
Now we have the delegate of Ukraine. The delegate of Ukraine, time zero.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, today we stand by here in lives, and it is time for it to end. The nation of Russia has abused its powers, violated human rights treaties and international laws put into place, just for the sake of their own governments. Today, we hope, the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian delegates hope that Ukraine one day will achieve peace that have been reinstated before. We hope from war, away from genocide, and away from killing. So, we propose the withdrawal of all Russian troops in the Ukrainian borders and the reinstatement of all Ukrainian borders. The delegate of Ukraine would like to yield the rest of their time to Jay.
Thank you, delegate of Ukraine. Now the delegate of the United States, the delegate of the United States. Time is yours.
It's unethical and illegal, and we urge that Russia immediately cease hostilities and withdraw its military force from the Ukrainian territory. We acknowledge the past attempt, such as the Minsk Agreement, which was signed in 2014, although it was proven to be unsuccessful. The failure of the Minsk Agreement
tolerance. It requires cooperation of all parties involved. And thus we must continue to work on a diplomatic solution emphasizing the sovereignty as well as the territorial integrity of both Ukraine and Russia. In conclusion, the United States of America firmly believes
They are no longer forced to flee their homes and where their children can grow up without the fear of war. This is the world that we can create with peacekeeping mission to both Russia and Ukraine. A peacekeeping mission that will help to end the conflict, protect civilians, and build a lasting peace. This is the delegate of Papua New Guinea speaking and present in the council and willing to discuss a possible UNSC resolution of a peacekeeping mission to end the Russia-Ukrainian dispute. This new peacekeeping mission must be able to escape from their homes, forced to seek refuge in other nations in hopes of more peace. Therefore, in a global scale, this war has also devastated the global economy, causing food and energy prices alike to rise. Therefore, we propose a peacekeeping framework called WARSPA, the Wellbeing Alliance for Russo-Ukrainian Stability and Peace in Territory.
A prolonged conflict. Iraq is deeply attached to the principles of peace, security, and sovereignty of nations. It is in this spirit the delegate supports a peaceful solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Above all, this delegate would like to emphasize the importance of a peaceful and negotiated solution as the only viable solution to the crisis. Military actions will only lead to destruction of humanity and not a diplomatic result. Iraq has suffered the devastating consequences of war, and this delegate understands.
Regularly report on the progress of resolution implementation and conduct evaluations to address any challenges arising from it. The United Kingdom hopes these resolutions can be beneficial to resolving this dispute, and at the moment prioritize Ukraine's safety and peace.
Would you like to yield to the chair or but to add unhonored office, unhonored office,
propose a motion.
The delegate of Russia would like to request moderated conference for total 10 minutes for 5 speakers with the topic of past and current international action. Past and current.
Delegate of Israel. Delegate of Russia. Delegate of Russia. Delegate of Indonesia.
Disagreement over territorial regions, just like what we see in the Donbass War of 2014, where the annexation of Crimea was prevalent, and this is allegedly because of.
It's very important.
Delegate of Indonesia. A possible UN resolution of peacekeeping mission is a decision made by the United Nations Security Council to authorize a peacekeeping operation in a conflict zone. It is used to restore international peace and security in situations where the Security Council has decided to act in the face of a threat to the peace, breach of the peace, or act of aggression. So does anyone have any other definitions?
Here, our We propose a development of a demilitarized zone across the border under control of and supervision of the United Nations to manage any further conflicts.
Just like the past international action that the UN has integrated the Bangkit with experts
So here, so everybody.
So basically,
mediation.
Yes. And aiding homes for displaced refugees.
How about social economic development?
And then, if you like, in peacekeeping, it's one way or another. It cannot all be to one party or the other. So, middle ground in compromising.
You see, okay, first, does all of you know like what are the reasons that Russia invaded Ukraine first?
Can we make it first? Reconstruction, social economic development, and compromising. Does everybody here agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, that will be our main focus on this console. Yeah, we will share. Maybe this will be our first working paper. What do you guys think?
Infrastructure, for example, maternity hospitals and schools with children inside of them, stadiums that they already have been evacuated for. I think even if we impose sanctions on the military of Ukraine, there should still be other punishments towards Russia and of course destruction.
And Russian oil and gas and food
Units. So displacement of Ukraine population. Even some Ukrainians.
Oh yeah. Protest against Russian government, right? And Russia wants to say that.
Military
So things like interruption of the economy of education because
the education.
Yeah.
Interruption of education because like
education and so the education part.
Education. Disruption of education.
Yeah, disruption.
Really they want us.
Has energy problems been addressed?
Yes. separating nations. The same as that the delegate of Ukraine and the delegate of China has stated a while ago. Yes, this delegate does acknowledge the possible territorial dispute that the SOAR policy might create, and that is why the SOAR policy will still be monitored over. The delegate would wish to see more discussions on the working paper and possible solutions, and also the delegate would like to outline how we are going to address video abuse issues in the
areas have been either under the security groups or under Russian control.
Yes.
Or the Netanyahu or something.
Exactly. That was the vision that we had.
Yes, a temporary version. What is the Ukraine thing?
I think that 55, yeah, so we're going to restrict it. But will there be supervision from other organizations outside of just Russia and Ukraine?
Do you think it is supervision?
I think it's a must. It's a must. Yes. It's a must. So,
but what do you think about the veto? I think that the 3-5 policy is a very good way, but I think the United Nations Security Council is very small and ineffective, especially for now, as there are almost 200 countries that it's all determined by 5 votes. Do you think that maybe it's still in the space of like, so future abuses of power doesn't happen, adding to the policy of the 3 votes to 2? Maybe that could be like a call to action for the DOJ instead
Making proposals affirming the need of the peace commission, having heard the demands of Russia and Ukraine immediately, urge all parties involved to resolve, support the reports of the international mediators, reaffirms the commitment to territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence of Ukraine within its economy.
Right, so the peacekeeping framework that we want to introduce is called the Wellbeing Alliance for Russo-Ukrainian Stability, Peace, and Accord in Territories, or shortened as WARSPAT. WARSPAT will act as a framework for present and future actions by the UNSC in regards to Russo-Ukrainian conflicts, with the legal base of Ukraine and consolidate solutions in the benefit of both parties and the global population as a whole. To achieve its aims, WARSPAT facilitates the UNSC with specific powers, those powers being facilitating mediation to work on a ceasefire and peace for all ongoing conflicts between Russia and Ukraine, observing real-time conditions of international laws, respecting the sovereignty of countries involved, and obligated to be impartial and in service to justice and human rights. Additionally, the programs that are part of WARSPAT framework will be further described in the next articles.
In Article 2 aims to end the dispute between Ukraine and Russia. Here, we are implementing establish arbitration between Russia and Ukraine by inviting both conflicting parties to a neutral nation and Switzerland to negotiate a peace treaty. Military ceasefire should be held during days of arbitration, and military forces should not be in the country of arbitration. The country hosting the arbitration should not force or influence any decisions to be made, and thus food rations, wearable clothes, and electricity.
Alright. Proceeding to Article 3, Future Proofing. So, deploys peacekeeping troops to increase security in the disease areas and facilitate safe handling in populous areas that are in danger. The quantity and intensity of troops will depend on circumstance of the issue. The resources will be upheld by the troops. No restricted measurements that will limit civilians' movements and supply their troops. Proceeding to establishing the reconfiguration of the UNMOG or the United Nations Military Observer Group in Ukraine and Russia. So, this committee will assume a transformative role aiming to investigate effective conflict resolution and social counsel to provide transactions involving organizations engaged in humanitarian aid and reduce accountability and its transparency. And then among that, supporting ecosoft will remain the specific content of aid provided until a resolution is declared. And then synergetic partnership with the UNOCT or United Nations Office for Counterterrorism has proposed to fortify national security and counteract terrorism. The UNOCT's role will extend to acting as a tension mitigator in the face of terrorist attacks.
As material development plan for rehabilitation and reconstruction of the damaged infrastructure and buildings. A, reconstruction of the roads, bridges, schools, and houses. B, creating mechanisms, investment plan to improve the standard and quality of teachers by A, strengthening the quality of pre-service teacher education programs, which focuses on reassuring that teachers are well prepared to meet the needs of students. B, supporting the ongoing development of practicing teachers. C, strengthening teacher supply and demand. D, enhancing the role of teachers in education reform. And E.
We are the United Nations, not dividing nations. We are here to promote peace, stability, and unity of the whole global environment.
Therefore, as peace goes further apart, let us embrace the light of love. Thank you, everyone, and let us.
Resolution now.
Yeah, let's go to the resolution.
The floor is now open to question and answer.
We will, to ensure that these resolutions will last, we will establish a continuous dialogue process that addresses emerging issues, as well as fostering public awareness regarding these and the importance of these resolutions. And last but not least, also
Following sanctions will work when in the past it has clearly failed.
and then we will have the general debate. And since we are already entering the first committee session, you guys can already write what you want to do in the working paper. So, because of course we will be talking about the working paper, right? And then talking with other delegates, so you guys can already do that because this is already the first session. So, thank you. So, perhaps is there any question regarding the procedure from you guys? Okay, so just a reminder. Drinks? Yes, there will be a lot. So if you guys want to go to the bathroom, please pass it. Also, pretty sure you have been given a cup under the desk, right? Yeah. Maybe you can prepare by size pieces there, like small pieces, and then those notes, those pieces of paper will also be used to pass notes. So in a 10-minute procedure, you cannot cross talk with each other, right? Even if it's someone beside you, you only will use notes, right? So please write any discussion in the notes. So also list from who it is and to who, and then there will be a person. There will be giving that notes to the delegate that is send the notes to, right? And that will be Ms. Kiara. Okay. Is there any question? And of course, if you want to go to the bathroom, just pass a note to the chair. Okay. And then we will recognize you. Is there any question? So hopefully you guys have already read everything in the right? The procedures, and then the examples, and then the karmas, right? Please be mindful of the karmas and the study guide because there will be. Okay, we will now begin the first committee session, starting with the delegate proposal. If your country has been called upon, please say whether you are present or present and voting.
We are present and voting.
Okay, thank you very much. You are present and voting. Moving on to the delegate of Indonesia. Present and voting. Thank you. Moving on to the delegate of Iraq. Present and voting. Thank you. The delegate of Israel. Present and voting, thank you. The delegate of Papua New Guinea.
The delegate of Papua New Guinea is present voting.
Present and voting, thank you. The delegate of Russia.
The delegate of Russia is present voting.
Present and voting, thank you. The delegate of South Africa.
The delegates of South Africa are present voting.
Present and voting, thank you. Delegate of Ukraine.
The delegates of Ukraine are present.
Present and voting, thank you. The delegate of United Kingdom.
The delegate of United Kingdom is present voting.
Thank you very much. The delegate of United States.
Delegate of United States is present.
Present and voting, thank you very much. Seeing that all delegates are present, the voting margin will be 10, and the procedural threshold will be 10% plus 1, which will be 6. And then 2/3 majority will be 7. Okay, so if you want to you want to propose a motion and for it to be passed, you will need 6 delegates to agree upon that motion. Okay? And for 2/3 majority will be used for the resolution. Okay, so for a resolution to pass, you will need 7 votes to be agreed. Okay, and please point the placard to us so that you can see your flag. Okay. Okay. We will be moving to the general speaker. So for those that want to speak upon the general speaker, please raise your flag. In delegate of China, delegate of the United States, delegate of Papua New Guinea, delegate of Israel, and delegate of Indonesia. Any other delegate? Any other delegate? We have 6 speakers. Is there any other delegate that would like to speak? We highly suggest all delegates to speak on the first general speaker list. Okay. Seeing none, we will be moving on. But however, the speaking time for this moment will be 1 minute. Is there any amendment? Is there any proposal to amend the time?
with a speaking time of 10 to 2. Is that in order?
There will be an order. Those delegates that are in favor with this topic, please raise your flag at high. Please raise your flag at high. Look at 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. This motion passes. Okay, so Delegate of Power, would you like to speak first or last? Okay. Any 3 more delegates? We need 3 more delegates. The top delegates be as this is the general debate. And you agreed upon this motion. This motion has been passed by 6 delegates, so those 6 delegates should be able to talk on this motion.
The National Federation is committed to providing meaningful assistance to address the human rights issues in the Palestine and Israel conflicts. We're ready to contribute to the humanitarian effort, providing aid to alleviate the suffering of the affected population, includes medical assistance, food supply, and support for displaced persons.
Thank you very much.
As we know, human rights are very important in these times of war. As Geneva Convention protects human rights, as you know, it specifically protects all humans from being affected by conflict, and it has been applied in these wars. But however, rather than focusing on human rights, should we focus on the conflict right now about the Israel and Palestine, rather than we finish on the human rights and make an immediate ceasefire that would eventually affect the humans again? How about we should just, let's say, we should talk more about the war instead, finish off the war with a two-state solution, rather than having to do this immediate humanitarian ceasefire that would eventually, let's say, eventually affect the humans right away when the war starts again.
Thank you, Delegate. Speech will be moving on to the Delegate of Indonesia for their the time is yours.
The encouragement of Palestine and retaliation of Israel has reserved numerous international humanitarian laws, such as the Convention 4, Article 49.6, 1949. Article 49 of the 14th Convention states, the occupying power shall not deport or transfer parts of its own civilian population into the territory it occupies. It also prohibits the individual or mass forcible transfer as well as deportation for protected person from occupied territory. Passing the mic to my co-chair.
As of November 2023, 1.5 million Palestinians have been forcibly outed out of their own nation. This violates the Geneva Convention's Article 49.6 directly. As the Republic of Indonesia, we believe that all of our efforts should be towards their humanitarian aid. As of now, we have done our utmost to help those who have been forcibly outed out of their own nation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Delegate. With that, your time has elapsed.
Palestinian predicament. It is imperative to uphold and consolidate and the ceasefire established in November 2006 between Palestine and Israel, and wavering support for the formation of a Palestinian national utility government is crucial to promoting stability in the region. It is critical to have long-lasting talks that result in a definitive peace argument. The final main status issues, including labor, borders, settlements, Jerusalem, the right of return, and the eventual settlement of the conflict, must be fully covered in these topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate, for your speech. Moving on to our last speaker from the Delegate of Iraq. The time.
Conflict by both sides, but the delegate of Iraq believes that we should uphold these human rights and the Geneva Convention, especially to civilians affected by this war. First, preserving the civilian lives, mitigating the indiscriminate missile fire, which caused the deaths of over 13,000 people, is crucial to saving these people. We have the duty and the right
and the power to stop these people. Let us work together to stop this indiscriminate missile fire from happening. Next, the safeguarding of important sites. As we know, many historical and religious sites were lost due to this conflict by indiscriminate missile fire and targeted bombing strikes. Thousands of years and culture and history were being destroyed. Lastly, the prohibition of inhumane weapons. As said by the delegate of Indonesia, indiscriminate missile fire causes a lot of deaths, and it's important to uphold the Geneva Convention for the rights, to protect the rights of all of these people. I'd like to pass the chair to the President.
Thank you, my co-delegate. As we emphasize, the citizens should not be directed for attacks, rather emphasize on the protection of these human rights. The government has the primary responsibility to protect the human rights of their citizens. Like the delegate of Russia said, we can help by medical aid for civilians, providing essential supplies for these civilians to help them. We have the power to help the victims from both nations. Like my co-delegate said, the indiscriminate bombing really destroys both of the countries. As we, the UNHRC, I hope in this process we will find an actual solution and an official solution to end all of the crisis that is happening in the world right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. And with this, the motion has collapsed, and we will be opening the floor for the general debate. However, we will not be opening
The delegate of Republic of Indonesia would like to raise a moderate focus for 10 minutes, with 1 minute of each speaking time about international pressure towards ceasefire negotiations. Towards ceasefire negotiations.
There will be an order. The delegate of United Kingdom.
The delegate of the United Kingdom would like to propose a motion of the establishment of the model 1993 Oslo Accords as a strategy for peace process signed with the North countries.
Apologies, Delegate. Can you simplify that motion?
The establishment of the model 1993 Oslo Accords as a strategy for peace process.
Sorry, that was still too long. Maybe you can shorten that.
The establishment of the modern 1993 Oslo Accords.
For how long?
Speaking time of 10 to 1.
10 to 1, okay. There will be an order. Thank you very much. And lastly, the delegate of Iraq.
The delegate of Iraq would like to propose a motion of the role of international law in this conflict, with a speaking time of 10 to 2.
One, two, three, four. Counting once, counting twice, counting thrice. This motion carries. Moving on. Counting once, counting twice, counting thrice. This motion carries. Okay. And 5. Counting once, counting twice, counting thrice. This motion also carries. So we'll be moving on to the general speaker first. Delegate of Indonesia. Any other? Delegate of Iraq. Delegate of Israel. Any other delegate? We will, under the counting thrice. Alright, we will be moving on with the counting once, counting twice, counting thrice. This motion carries.
I would like to remind you all of the ramifications of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. As of now, the short that is imposed to Palestinians by Israel will approximately cause an economic growth of world economic growth to be projected by 0.1 to 1%. If the conflict escalates, the global inflation would rise by 0.1 to 1.12 percentage points. I would like to give my time to my colleagues.
This will also go back to the Republic of Indonesia in an unprecedented manner. I quote, Indonesia will absolutely be impacted unfairly because, in terms of the global political economy, it is becoming increasingly uncertain inflation will inevitably be hard. International relations expert Lalu Putrawandi Karjaya. Lalu Putrawandi Karjaya also mentions concern regarding Iran in lieu of the threat made by a renowned lawmaker in Iran. strong terms. Member states should all be available with their channels, their public statements to promote the protection of human rights. This should also include the excessive force used by the Israeli security forces, the expansion of illegal settlements. Second, I would like to talk about pressing for accountability. Member states should support and promote human rights abuses, and we should definitely take action because these civilians are innocent. We can also import targeted sanctions on individuals and entitled responsible for the human rights abuses.
Iraq believes that government should always empower their people to exercise their human rights. We should play a significant role in aiding and protecting these civilians, especially during these important and critical times of peace. Let's use our channels and connections to promote and bring life to these people. Thank you.
Moving on to the delegate of Israel for the speech. The time is
Yeah, according to the data, around 1,400 Israelis have been killed due to attacks from Hamas, and over 200 Israelis were taken hostages. These hostages are in violation of several human rights and are violation of war crimes. Regarding the human rights protection, we have offered a few humanitarian pauses to allow time for humanitarian aid to be given to the civilians. I would like to give the time to my delegate.
Kindly encourage yourself to look how miserable our hostages are. Many Israeli civilians are kidnapped instead.
Thank you, delegate. Your time has elapsed. Moving on to the delegate of United States for their speech. The time is
Good morning, Chair, delegates. The United States of America is willing to cooperate to assist with any resources in order to promote and protect human rights in the Palestine-Israel conflict. Thank you.
Thank you. You still have 46 seconds.
I will give a little bit of time.
Okay, thank you very much. And lastly, we will have the speech from the delegate of Ukraine. For the delegate of Ukraine, the time is yours.
So, honorable chairs and also fellow delegates, Ukraine would like to speak as we were attacked and they were attacked. So that's why we, Ukraine, of course, will uphold the importance of the international law and how to uphold the human rights of all individuals and all participants of the global community. So that's why we really upholding the international law against human rights.
Okay, thank you, delegate. You still have 29 seconds. How would you like to use your time?
I would like to yield my time to go back to chair.
Thank you very much. So therefore, this general purpose has elapsed. We will be moving on to the motions. I would like to raise some chairs and fellow delegates. As for actions done by the Republic of Indonesia as a Muslim country, and also a country which has suffered through occupation and colonization, we are siding with Palestine on this conflict. As of now, what we have done for all humanitarian projects is when Minister Brenda Musad enacted 106.2 billion rupiahs to humanitarian aid in Gaza. Another act that Indonesia has done is cut ties diplomatically with Israel. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much, Indonesia. Will you want to speak from the Iraq? Alright, the time is
Thank you, chairs. Esteemed delegates, there are so many possible ways to provide humanitarian aid. First of all, we should help them provide food, water, and basic necessities such as shelters and many more. Next, I would like to also point out that we at HRC can provide the funding for these countries that are affected by the Palestine and Israel conflict.
Iraq has always been for the protection and aid of these refugees. We have the duty to shelter and protect these people, fleeing from this gruesome conflict. We are disheartened by the amount of people displaced in this war, and funding and protection of 1.5 million refugees is difficult and expensive. Nevertheless, Iraq has made consistent efforts to provide crucial, life-saving supplies and important infrastructure such as hospitals, refugee camps, and asylums. Thank you.
Moving on to the delegate of Israel for speech.
Thank you, Chair. The delegates of Israel would like to state that Israel has conducted several humanitarian processes to allow for humanitarian aid and time evacuation. We have also issued an evacuation order for any citizens currently in northern Gaza to evacuate to the southern part. Our campaign is only targeted at the Hamas terrorist organization and ensuring the safety of the hostages. Thank you.
We will be moving on to the delegate of United Kingdom for the delegate of
Honorable chairs and respectable delegates, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom had made the announcement on the House of Commons calling for immediate access for humanitarian organizations to be allowed to liberalize the aid. £3 billion of humanitarian aid will be used to support civilians in occupied Palestinian territories in response to escalating conflict. I'll be passing the next fundings from the country and other trusted partners, including from key UN agencies, have been spent to provide essential relief items and services and bring them closer to the region.
Thank you, delegate. We will be moving on to the speaker, which is the delegate of Papua New Guinea for the delegate, the Prime Minister.
Humanitarian efforts for helping refugees are very important during these times. Emergency aid and shelter established for support healthcare, support educational initiatives for displaced children, provide social support and more for refugees are very important. However, we would like to point out the establishment of core and international fact-finding mission to ensure that the efforts of the refugees other than to focusing on any other helping the people there, we should help find facts that are actually happening on the Israel and Palestinian conflict so we can help and focus on our target.
The delegate moving on to the delegate of Ukraine for their speech. The Prime Minister.
Honorable Chair of the delegate, as we know, the civilians in Gaza are now facing the horror of major airstrikes and really rising death tolls and hundreds of thousands of people displaced and in the nowhere safe to go. We condemn every blockade that has caused lack of basic needs towards civilians. It is important for every nation to always make sure that our brother and sister in Gaza can have equality of human rights.
But meanwhile, based on the UDHR or Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it is a must for all individuals to have the rights of getting food, a decent place, or just the basic needs that they need for their lives. However, the fact is there are so many refugees and for Ukraine, it is not a new thing for us, but because we have discovered the same thing. But so that's why we really wanted to strongly agree to the UDHR or Universal Declaration of Human Rights to uphold all the needs that is needed.
Moving on to the delegate of the United States for their speech. The time is yours.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, Delegate of US mentioned that the power we have in the form of military and economic that can contract as humanitarian effort that is capable to those who got impacted by this war, especially refugees. We have assisted $3.6 billion in total to Palestine. Those big amount of money are allocated to food, shelters, and medicines. We will make sure that civil safety will be secured in this war. Thank you.
Delegate for the speech. Your time has automatically elapsed. Moving on to the delegate of South Africa for their speech. The time is yours.
South Africa has actively contributed in diplomatic initiatives aimed at fostering additional agreements between conflicting parties regarding acts of and diplomatic efforts made to avoid an escalation of violent strategies sought by Gaza residents, aid supplied by the UN's World Health Organization through the Rafah crossing between Egypt and the Gaza Strip, and violation of the international humanitarian law by Palestinian allies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Delegate, for your speech. We will be moving on to the Delegate of Russia. For the Delegate of Russia, the time is yours.
Delegate of Russia, advocate for the respect of human rights for all individuals in the conflict areas, regardless of their nationality and ethnicity. The situation in Israel and Palestine demands our collective attention, and we believe that the international community has a responsibility to foster an environment where the rights and dignity of all individuals are upheld. Thank you, Chair. I will my time.
Thank you, Delegate. Last but not least, we have the speech from the Delegate of the People's Republic of China. Time is yours.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, as you all know, the importance of humanitarian aid for refugees, the People's Republic of China will propose increased funding and support for the UNRWA, which is the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, which manages 58 Palestinian refugee camps and has improved the conditions of said camps.
Thank you very much, Delegate. And with that, this motion has elapsed, and we will go into the debate. As we have previously proposed an unguarded caucus, so is there any motion on the floor? Okay, Delegate of my right. 15 minutes. Okay. That will be in order. Is there any motion on the floor? Any other motion? Delegate of Israel. For 10 minutes. As for the Delegate of Iraq has already proposed at 10 minutes, there will not be order. However, if you want to propose a longer period, there will be order. Extra 10 minutes. So there will be 20 minutes. There will be order. And as the Delegate of Israel proposed, okay, we will be accepting one more motion. Is there any motion on the floor, Delegate? Counting once, counting twice, counting once. We will now begin with the voting procedures, starting from the most disruptive, coming from the Delegate of Israel with a 20-minute non-order caucus. So for those in favor of this motion, please raise your hand high. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This motion, unanimous. Okay. So we will have a 20 minutes. Okay. So before this, you guys can go ahead and maybe be around this room. Okay. But you will not leave that far away, so that you can still observe. Okay. So we will have a 20 minutes starting from now.
First, we have the 1967 stakeholder, the re-establishment of the 1967 stakeholder, and then of course, the ceasefire. And if the ceasefire cannot be achieved, the Russia Federation was convicted to the ICC, and Israel is because the biggest sponsor of the UN is United States of America, and yeah. Do you think we should fight targeted sanctions? Because I feel like the Israel stop have any pressure on the
USA keeps on going.
So it's never actually. And also, one of the violations that they violated is the legal settlement and practice of
All the countries have experienced something that only the South Africa has experienced colonization, right? Dating to the have experience like we can bring that. How about everyone else? We need to be specific. So there's a lot of sure.
Under the third discussion, that motion will automatically pass. Thank you, David. That will be the end of Consensus 1. So next we'll be having, there are still delegates that do not completely understand what is being mentioned in this certificate. So please read this certificate again. And do keep in mind about your country stances delegates, okay? And that will be all maybe. And do prepare your speeches as your active participation will be what is written and what will be consideration by the chairs and also the judge. Okay. That will be all. Is there any question? None? Thank you. Okay. You may go. Yes, the due time will be at 12 exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Since there's no other question, you may have your break until 10:45. Thank you. Enjoy your break, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, the Israel-Palestine region is held with high regard by both nations. During the 1948 war on Israel and Palestine, Israel seized almost all the land for themselves, ignorant of the history and cultural significance held by the Palestinians. For up to 75 years, Israel has been illegally occupying the new region, refusing to help or listen to the claim of the Palestinians. In fact, even declining offer of a two-state border in 1967. Angered by the inaction taken by Palestine, Hamas defended their land. Iraq sympathizes with the loss of historical and cultural significance, but also finds it ironic how they are actively bombing and desecrating what they call their holy land. So considering this, we hereby propose a two-state border for getting these unclear historical claims of the land, for the rights and protection of the people. I'd like to pass the mic.
Thank you, and I would like to emphasize on the two-state border that the arguments provided by Israel is firstly, they're scared of vulnerable attacks by the Palestinians. As we all know, the weapons from Israel are funded by the USA, so we can clearly see which one should be scared of the vulnerable attacks. Meanwhile, they built a 60-kilometer prison fence for Palestinians. Another argument presented by Israel is that the United States is the closest ally to Israel, therefore undermining the two-state solutions. Iraq feels that we should focus on their historical significance and not have any countries intervene on their historical land. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for my rights. Next we have from the United States. So for the United States.
Fellow delegates and Honorable Chair, the establishment of Israel and the war that hold and proceed, it led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who became refugees, sparkling a decades-long conflict between Israel and the Palestinian people. The Palestinians seek to establish their own independent state to at least a part of historic Palestine, as Israel demands on its own border control. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the United States. Next we have from Israel. So
There has been many conflicts between consumed thousands of lives due to the dispute of this land. Keep in mind, we encourage you to look up the Abraham Accord, which has been initiated by the Trump administration in 2020, stated clearly on how neighboring Arab countries such as Morocco, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Sudan willingly ensured Israeli sovereign claims on its territory under the stipulations of political, cultural, and economic benefit for every party involved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rao. Next we have from China.
The conflict between Israel and Palestine has a long history lasting over 70 years. Many conflicts between Israel and Israel.
Okay, thank you, China. Next we have South Africa. So for South Africa, time. South Africa.
Yes, while you do not raise your placard, under such discretion, you have been chosen as your contribution is looked upon by the chair.
So for South Africa, time choose.
As delegates of South Africa, I'd like to bring up how Africa too has experienced colonization in the year 1948 to 1994. This ethnic cleansing was called apartheid, and apartheid relates to the current situation because apartheid is not just about physical positions and denial of equal rights. It also involves control and discriminatory laws, location permits, police raids, and other violent measures. Common to both systems is the intention to maintain and consolidate domination through racial discrimination and oppression that is in law and not just in policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, South Africa. Next we have Ukraine. So for Ukraine, the floor is yours.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, our country is no stranger to conflicts fueled by similar dynamics, and we understand the critical need for peaceful resolutions that respect human rights. Therefore, this needs to be stopped now, as it has already caused damage towards every nation in this world. It can only be achieved by stopping any kind of violation of international law in war, and starting to provide peace for a better world.
Ukraine has been suffering from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. On 25 February 2022, Russia was accused by Amnesty International of war crimes and crimes against humanity and waging war in violation of international law. The most important, Russia possessed the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet, and it was clear that no state, not even the United States, was prepared to engage in open warfare as a result. This case has already been brought up on the ICC, and so why hasn't this singular case also been brought up? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ukraine. So next we have from United Kingdom. So for United Kingdom, the floor is yours.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, dating back to 1947, the Balfour Declaration issued by the United Kingdom declared to uphold the human rights of the Jewish people. This declaration sculpted the trajectory of relations between the United Kingdom and Israel, declared British support for the establishment of the national home for the Jewish people in Palestinian lands. However, ongoing clashes between Palestinian Arabs and Jewish migrants has led to hundreds of deaths due to the migration of Jewish civilians to Palestinian lands as a result of past historical occurrences. The mic shall be passed on to the United States Military. Written promise is cited as what led tens of thousands of Jewish civilians to migrate to Palestinian land into the 20s and 30s. However, it can be reduced by emphasizing the focus on ongoing clashes between Israel and Palestine. While the rights of the indigenous population and national self-determination are now more widely acknowledged, the United Nations should also consider the rights of immigrants. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next we have from
Papua New Guinea hasn't openly supported Israel or Palestine either, as we think that Israel has been harming the citizens of the Palestine, but to act that Palestine hasn't done anything to Israel land is very wrong. Yes, Israel has advantages in the weapons, but Palestine also has it if they do want to share the combined relationship. So to act that Palestine hasn't done anything to Israel land is very wrong. So both land has done some damages and has to be hold accountability to that.
okay, thank you, Eugene. So last one is we can have from Indonesia. So for Indonesia, for HEOs.
Honorable chairs and delegates, I would like to reply regarding Israel's stance. Israel hasn't and did not answer our questions regarding whether they believe that Palestine belongs to them or not. Second point being, they asked us to research regarding the Abraham Accords, which states, the undersigned, we recognize the importance of maintaining and strengthening peace in the Middle East around the world based on mutual understanding and coexistence. However, there has been numerous occasions where Israeli citizens and the Israeli government have sent hate speeches to Muslims, saying things like death to Muhammad. I would like to give my time to my colleague.
Israel has attacked Al-Aqsa Mosque, and there have been multiple verbal and physical attacks by Israel since the beginning of the year against Christians. And Christian sites in Jerusalem in what has become a worrying phenomenon. Hate crimes in Jerusalem are nothing new, but they have generally been treated as a fringe occurrence, and perception has changed in the last few months.
I also would like to ask Israel, is it regarding their stance, after the Abraham Accords, of course they didn't answer whether Palestine land belonged to them or not. And we'd like further confirmation on that later on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. And the Chair would like to remind you that no personal pronoun should be used. You should only refer to yourself as the or the country. Seeing that there is only 9 delegates that has been spoken, let's check. We will still call upon one more delegate to speak on this motion. So is there any other delegate to speak on this motion? Please raise your placard. One more speaker. Counting once, counting twice, counting thrice. Seeing none, we will collapse this motion and we will be moving on to the general debate.
Chair, so delegates, these are the draft resolution that we agreed on with the topic of the promotion and protection of human rights in the Palestine-Israel conflict, with the sponsors as below: the Republic of Iraq and the independent state of Papua New Guinea. The signatories are United States of America, United Kingdom, Republic of Indonesia, State of Israel, Russian Federation, the Ukrainian People's Republic, Republic of South Africa, and the Republic of China. So here are the amendments. Scroll down. So the first article are the release of hostages. So firstly, we must acknowledge that the hostages are being held by the Hamas forces to leverage to gain more territory are required to be released. Why? To achieve an internal relationship between each side. As we all know, and as we all discussed, Israel demanded that all of their hostages be released. And by having these hostages being released by both sides, we can achieve internal relations between both sides. And then number 2, international pressure will be exerted on Hamas for the conditional release of hostages. As we know, Hamas are very separated from the Palestine. So even if we have these resolutions, Hamas might not want to do our amendments. So how can we do it? We should have international pressures will be exerted on Hamas for the unconditional release of the hostages, and the UN will intervene if Hamas forces do not cooperate. And number 3, the
be efficient in finding and rescuing the hostages. The United States will assist by sending troops and as UN forces, ensuring the safe exchange of hostages and to ensure that none of the hostages are hurt. The US troops are going to be under the UN's command, designed as Shadow 1. And then for the fourth point, once the safety of the hostages has been ensured, Israel will agree to a ceasefire and continue further negotiations regarding any aid needed for the recovery of Palestine, which will also be funded and assisted by the United States of America. So once the hostages has been ensured and has returned to their own homeland, then we could follow up with the next solution, which will be read by the next delegate.
Okay, for the second article, agreement on two state borders. In the case that a humanitarian ceasefire is not feasible in the near future, United Nations shall continue working closely with both Israel and Palestine and other regional allies to tackle the humanitarian situation in Gaza. This also entails partitioning the land as a whole into various sectors, each governed by a separate state concerning the rights and interests of all parties. We would like to add the concept of neutral borders on the basis of 1. Promotion of security of human rights to those affected by the conflict. 2. Agreeable terms of which both Israel and Palestine, alongside all UN members, can reach a consensus on. 3. Agreeable designation of land where Palestine and Israel reach a point of agreement. And the last, a consensus where no further territorial disputes are made in the future, ensuring the safety and promise of upholding human rights to civilians of both Israel and Palestine. Thank you, the delegates of Papua New Guinea. And next, we would like to address some of the questions that need to be answered in the resolution, which is collaborations with other NGOs and organizations. For Article 3, the role of NGOs in other countries. So for the NGOs, we can work with the PRC, the Palestine Network, and as well as other organizations such as UNESCO and UNHCR. Answering the cardinal number 2 and number 3 about the collaborations with other organizations, and as well as how would the member states respond to the rapid decline.
And of course, to build on to my co-delegates' statements previously, Article 4, addressing funding and collaboration partners. So we believe.
Any question? For the sponsor for the presentation. May you return to your seats. And we will be moving on to the last procedure, which is voting.